like one of those guys who raided the cat. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Rye Town Council meeting of April 20th, 2023. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America, and for the republic for which it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Heavenly Father, please bless this assemblage. Grant us the wisdom to make every decision fair-minded and the best interest for all its residents. Amen.
Thank you. Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffee. Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Present.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
Councilperson Lindsay Jackson. And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Present. Noting that Pam Jaffee is joining us via Zoom. Hello, Pam. And
Hey, Gary, thank you for letting me do this from a business trip.
Well, Pam has, pursuant to state legislation on our local law, is joining via Zoom with an acceptable excuse. She's away on business matters. And let's proceed with the rest of the agenda. Adoption of the minutes of March 16th, 2023. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing on local law number 2 of the year 2023. This is the local law to approve the, I should say, establish the position of a second deputy clerk. The local law and the state legislation, town law, permits towns to appoint as many as 3 deputy clerks. We currently have 1 deputy clerk, and this legislation permits us to appoint up to 3 deputy clerks. And as you're all aware, we have one of our current employees who is a clerk, will be appointed as the new deputy clerk after the local law is approved and filed with the Secretary of State. So may I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is there anybody from the public who wishes to be heard at this public hearing? Debbie, anybody on Facebook?
Nobody's on Facebook.
Okay. Hope, do you want to make a comment, since you are the clerk?
Okay. I requested that we'd be able to establish a second deputy clerk and maybe more than 1 others in the future. The importance of this is that if I'm absent from my office, that there will be deputies that will be available to certify documents, which is very important. People come from long distances sometimes to have a certified copy. If I'm not there, at least Paola, who's my deputy now, could do it. And if Paola's not there and I'm not there, then at least Stephanie, if we do appoint her. Stephanie Maciel, my other employee. So that's the reason why I'm requesting that this local law be enacted.
Thank you. Anything from the council? Pam up on Zoom, anything? No? May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Hope.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffee,
Yes.
Councilperson Jill Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi,
Yes.
and Councilperson Lindsay Jackson, and Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Yes. You don't have to call Lindsay's name if she's absent.
I know, I didn't know if she came
No,
on.
no,
without
she's
me
not.
knowing. Okay,
She
won't
texted,
be
she's,
here?
no, she's
Okay,
absent.
thank you.
Now we have a presentation from Joseph Orlando of the New York State Comptroller's Office to discuss unclaimed funds. And we present this as a public service to the people of the town of Rye. Mr. Orlando, are you on?
Yes, I am, Mr. Supervisor. I hope everyone can hear me. And thank you very much for letting me join in tonight. And thank you, Hope, for connecting us and giving me the opportunity to speak about unclaimed funds. So unclaimed funds, in a nutshell, is money that has been lost. It's been misplaced. You never got a check from the insurance company. You never got an old deposit back in an old apartment. There was money that was left over in a bank account that you haven't used in many, many years. And you're entitled to that money. And in the meantime, we hold on to it at the state comptroller's office to keep it safe. So that way, when you are ready to claim it, we can get it back to you. This can also be various forms of stock. It could be from family relatives for insurance claims, things like that. And it can be anything that we have in our system is over $50 and up. Sometimes you'll receive a notice from the bank, from a former bank that you used to use, saying that you have, quote unquote, unclaimed funds and to reach out to our office. And most of the time, that's what banks will do. They're not legally required to do it, but most of the time, that is how they proceed. And I'm going to put into the chat here my contact information as well. Was I not muted? Was I muted? Okay. And also encourage the town to see if they have any unclaimed funds for themselves or for any of the other municipalities in the area. And I also encourage to check for any of the ambulance corps that may serve the town, because oftentimes they can have unclaimed funds themselves. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, I wish the new deputy clerk the very best of luck.
Mr. Orlando, I do have a question. I believe our two legislators, Nancy Barr being one of them, are holding local sessions for people to come.
Yes, we will be having one a week from Thursday at the Port Chester Community Center with County Executive Latimer as well.
Great. And he said it was pretty quick and easy.
It is. It's very simple. All I need to run a search on someone is their last name and their first name, and then see if we have a unclaimed fund associated with them for an old address, for a current address, for things like that.
Thank you so much.
Just repeat, I know that there's a website in the Comptroller's office, and I tell you, I have used it myself and actually have found funds there.
There you go.
And can you repeat that for the people watching or who may see this on video later?
Sure. So I put the link to the website into the chat, which you can feel free to share throughout, however you communicate with town residents. But really, the unclaimed funds are meant to be helpful. It's a way for us to give money back, which is very uncommon for the government. But it's our way to give people the money back that they are entitled to, various forms of checks, old bank accounts, insurance claims that never got to them, those kinds of things. And it's just entering your last name and then your first name and seeing if any of the addresses listed there are addresses that you have lived at, currently live at, or for family members and things like that. Those unclaimed funds can be a little tricky, but those are also things that I always tell people to check for mom and dad, for relatives who've passed away, for grandkids and kids themselves, because they also have unclaimed funds.
Thank you. Any other questions, members of the council? Nope. Do we have anybody on Facebook at all who have questions?
No comments have been
No
entered.
comments. Thank you. Mr. Orlando, thank you so much for coming and addressing us. And we are certainly glad to present this for the people of the town of Rye. And I know that, is it you that will be at Nancy Barr's?
Yes, I will. I'll be there, and if anybody wants to come and talk to me in person about unclaimed funds, because they'd rather do that, I'm more than happy to sit down with them and see if they have any unclaimed funds.
All right. And so what is that date again?
That will be a week from today, actually, at the Portchester Community Center.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Much appreciated.
You're very welcome, Mr. Supervisor, and thank you.
Portchester Senior Center. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
You too.
He was willing to come down, but, you know, I reached out to him with our Zoom link. Say, why come down?
Yeah, well, he's going to be here next week.
Right, but just go.
Okay, now we have a resolution setting a date for a public hearing for local law number 3. This is a,
We skipped over the community cleanup.
we did, I just went over that. Let's finish this, we'll go back to that. Local law number 3 regards residency requirement for the Office of Deputy Receiver of Taxes. And if you read the resolution, it's not very complicated. We will be we have established the position of Deputy Receiver. And for many, many years, that position was filled very ably by Carol Chewins, who sadly passed away at the end of last year. Normally, a deputy receiver, as a deputy clerk, has to be a resident of the town. As an officer of the town, it has to be a resident of the town. And by local law, the town has the right to reestablish the residency requirements, which this does. And we're seeking to do this because the person who we intend to approve as, actually, who will be appointed by the tax receiver as deputy receiver, does not currently live in the town. So the new residency requirement will be that they reside in the county of Westchester in the state of New York. And we are setting the date for a public hearing for next month on May 18th. So does anybody have a question, comment? We have a motion and a second to set the date for the public hearing at May 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Hope, call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jaffee?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Now, going back, Community Cleanup Day is April 29th. And Pam, this is yours.
All right, sorry. Just unmuting myself so you don't get the street noise. This will be our, oh my goodness, 3rd year of concerted community cleanups. We are working across the municipality. We've got sites in Mamaroneck, in Portchester, 2 in Rybrook, one being, of course, Crawford Park itself, and then one being the senior center. And asking people to come out and help beautify our local environment, whether it be by going into the local waters in Mamaroneck and helping us, relieve those pathways of pollution and pollutants, by which I mean a lot of plastics and invasive vines, or if it's going to plants, flowers to make the senior center gorgeous and make our neighbors smile every time they go there, coming here to Crawford Park to weed and help us till a new garden. I believe that our Director of Grounds and Facilities is going to be working on container gardens this year. And then in Port Chester, once again, going by the marina and areas to clean up litter and local pollution. And I think there is some planter gardening as well there too. So it should be a lot of fun. It may rain next Saturday, so please do sign up. There's a QR code on the screen. We'll drop it into the chat, but we'll let you know if it's going to be delayed one day.
All right. Questions or comments from the board?
No.
Nope. Hope to see everybody there. This is always a really nice community event, and it helps each of our communities. City of Rye, Mamaroneck/Rye Neck, Port Chester, Rybrook, and of course, Crawford Park in the town of Rye, village of Rybrook.
Again, I did forget to mention the City of Rye site is Edith Reed Wildlife Center. Sorry about that.
It's going to be, City of Rye is at Edith Reed. Mamaroneck is at the Tompkins Avenue Bridge, Port Chester at the waterfront, the Rybrook Senior Center, and Crawford Park. Those are the locations. So thank you. And thank you, Pam. And thank you for your leadership in our sustainability efforts.
Well, I want to thank Debbie and I want to thank Brian, who's our coordinator, and all the site captains. They're doing an amazing job. It is a self-sustaining initiative now, and we are setting regular dates, whether it be going forward the last weekend in April, the last weekend of Earth Week, let's call it, and then the third weekend of October, I believe, Debbie, we said going forward would be our fall initiative, just so people can always set their calendars and know that there'll be some sort of great community activity to help us keep our area beautiful.
And just FYI, at the Rye Town Park Commission Tuesday night, Brian made a presentation for the Sustainability and Cleanup Day. Okay, no other questions, moving on. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract with Peter Landi for the rehabilitation of the Crawford Park driveway. The information is all in the agenda package. The rehabilitation of the driveway went out to bid and supervised by James Natarelli of Dalfer Outfeld Engineering, and bids came in. There's a memo on file indicating that the low bidder was Peter Landi Incorporated of Hawthorne, with a low bid of $161,495. Dalfer Outfeld Engineering has worked with this firm previously on other projects, finds them very reputable, and as the low bidder, they will be awarded the contract as soon as we authorize it. So any questions from the board? If not, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
A second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffee,
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our last resolution is to authorize a summer intern for the Rye Town Court, Mr. Stephen Cochrane. Debbie, I think you worked with Tony on this. You want to say anything about this?
This is an extern who is working with Judge DeFabio. I think he may have started this spring, and we'll be working with him. This is part of his education requement.
Not Judge DeFabio's educational, Stephen Cochrane's educational requirement.
Thank you for making sure I have the reference correctly. And we want to make sure that since Mr. Cochrane is not an employee technically of the town, he is a volunteer intern. We want to make sure that he's covered by our insurance, and he has an official standing.
Volunteer extern.
Yes.
I said intern at first, you corrected me for extern. You said intern, I corrected you for extern. I don't know what the difference is, but there you have it. Any questions? If not, motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Voice vote, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Reports. Charles, you have an assessor's report?
Yes. Good evening. First, I'd like to say that the taxable status date is coming up very quickly. We need all homeowners or anyone applying for an exemption to be in by May 1st. Our office hours are 8:30 to 4. We also accept emails. That's assessor@townofryny.com. We give a little leeway time as long as the application's in to bring any supporting documentation in. And secondly, I've been in the position for a little over a month now. I'm very happy to have met a bunch of people at Town Hall, a lot of homeowners, different people, and it's been a pleasure to meet everyone, and hope to see a couple more people stop by the office. And that's all I have for this meeting.
Camille, Crawford Park.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have actually two reports, both brief. The first one is the standard one that we have each month. And this will take us through how many inquiries we've had. I just want to say that the numbers represent anything that is in the reservation system as of today. All right, so in terms of inquiries, we've had 161 cumulative inquiries through April 20th, just down slightly from last year, which is at 163, but we're not too concerned. We are having an average of 85 inquiries a month, which is a lot. And bookings are also up. We are at 118 bookings year to date. We have 11 proposals pending, and we're still holding strong at 5 events for next year, 2024. The number of events, municipal events where we've waived the fees, as of April there have been 49, and the fees waived is $101,600, okay, which is pretty much the way it was last year as well. Any questions before I move on? Okay. So this is the new format. We introduced it last month in terms of our revenue. And two things that are different from what we've done in the past is that this is, the numbers are year-to-date end of March, as opposed to year-to-date this week. It's just been done at the request of Dave for their accounting to be more aligned, or our accounting to be more aligned with theirs. So the first group of numbers are payments received, that's cash in the past 3 months. We've deducted the security deposits and the staff gratuities. So the adjusted revenue number is $33,300. The rental fees paid, and this is for any events that have been executed. So any events in the past 12 weeks are reported in these numbers. And we are at $17,500. Our labor costs for these events, just the ones that were executed, $7,000. And the adjusted revenue minus the labor costs is now at $14,200. And the dollar amount, whoops, sorry, I didn't want to do that. The rental fees waived. Now, this number will be slightly different than what we looked at on the first slide, but that's because this is just through the end of March as opposed to everything we have in the system right now. Okay, and I have another slide in the next presentation that will take you through who's actually receiving the benefit of the waived fees. Okay, any questions? No? Yeah. And, okay, you want to move me on?
Yeah.
So the next report, also brief, we put together at the request of the council, inquiring as to who is using our facility, how are they using it, et cetera. So first we'll take a look at who in the town of Rye is using the park. We went through all of our records, and the time period for this report is the past 15 months, because just to do this year really wasn't going to be an accurate picture. So I went back to January of 2022, and these are the numbers you're going to be seeing in the next couple of slides. So out of all the events that the town people have utilized the park for, Portchester is in the lead with 55% of the events held. Rybrook is pretty close second at 42. The big difference there you'll see if you look at the breakdown of the resident, nonprofit, and municipal is that Portchester really has an extreme number for municipal, and that's based on the fact that the Portchester school system uses us almost on a weekly basis. Questions on that? Oh, and Rye Neck, I'm sorry, just 3% with 9 events. Questions?
Just to reiterate, you say that Portchester uses it a great deal for municipal. This is using Crawford as a benefit for the township, correct? They are able to use it at no cost?
Correct. It's no charge. It's the Portchester Union Free School District administrators. And then they have conferences with the various teachers. Okay. Okay, so now we look at who are the user groups, and we've narrowed it down to 4 here, and this is for all areas. So we have the residents, the non-residents, the municipal, and the nonprofit, breaking down with the residents using 39% of all the events. Non-resident is only at 15%, nonprofit 14%, and again, the municipal number is right up there at 32%. And I've also reflected the number of events for each and the revenue that we've brought in for them. This is a deep dive. I can take you through it if you'd like. But what we did was we went through each of the patron categories and paid particular attention to the town of Rye, and we were able to break it out through the village of Portchester, Rybrook, and Rye Neck. And it gives you a pretty good feel for who's actually using Crawford. The municipal ones is actually part of the 39% that you see there. We have non-residents at 15%, and those are the different towns that the people have come from. We even have somebody from Tennessee, Colorado, New Jersey, and a handful from Connecticut. And then nonprofit, I broke that out separately just for the purposes of showing you that we kind of have 2 categories in nonprofit. We've got resident and non-resident. Okay, questions?
Yeah, I'm curious where people from Tennessee or, I mean, is that word of mouth?
No, but you know what it is, and it's happened a couple of times, is these people lived in Rybrook or lived in the town of Rye. They've moved to Jersey, Colorado, et cetera.
Right.
They want to have a family event, and they come back here. So that's how those unusual states.
Old, or are they so pleasantly surprised?
It's a
when they
little
see what
of
it's
both,
become?
because many of them have relatives here, which is why they choose to do the events here.
Right.
And I'm sure it's at the recommendation of the local people.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting. It really is. So, anything else on that one? Okay, and this was the last request, Gary, actually. You had asked me the other day, you said you wanted to know what the percentages was and who was actually using the different locations within the park. So 44% of our reservations are for the mansion, 49% is for the pavilion, 6% is for the sports field, and then we do have a few events where people basically block out the whole park. So the mansion and the pavilion, et cetera, falls into that category. So it's an interesting breakdown, I think. Thought the sports field might have been a little bit higher, but we're happy with the 6% for now. I have to thank my team because they did a lot of the number crunching.
With this.
Can I ask you just a question? I'm curious how these figures in terms of usage line up with our costs. So, like, you know, how much of our budget is going to maintain the mansion versus the sports field, and is that, you know, is it only a small percentage relative to the entire pie for the sports field? So that's why it. Do you know what I'm saying? Is there a correlation?
I don't have access to or any knowledge of the other expenses in there. I can help you with anything you'd like to know about what's executed here.
Right. No, and you've done a wonderful job.
That.
You know, and I appreciate it. I'm just
No
sort of
problem.
thinking that I would love to kind of juxtapose those two numbers to see. But
You know, I really like the fact that of the mansion events, residents are 77 and non-residents 27. For putting aside the municipalities, I think that's really good percentage.
Yeah. And I do want to mention to you, Gary, it's not in any chart, but the last concert that we had with the Philharmonic last week, when I got the zip code report, the majority were from Portchester and Rybrook. Yeah.
Excellent.
So.
That's terrific.
concerns of our residents, you know, we have heard that other council members have heard, you know, complaints or concerns, and the numbers seem to indicate that we're doing well in terms of making sure that residents have use of the facilities and, you know, are able to take advantage of it. So I'm happy to see that.
One of the hardest part in what we do, myself and the team, is that we've got to tell people, sorry, there's no availability. That's hard. But it happens, and we try to accommodate them either with a different location or a different date, you know, wherever we can. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. That was a terrific report.
Thank you.
Vic, anything for parks and facilities?
No, Pam wanted this, but she's not here.
Oh,
This Candy will go over this back to one section. And then I'll speak.
Hi, my name is Candida Mejia. I'm a park attendant here at Crawford Park, and I'm here to discuss the concession stand, which we're hoping to open on June the 1st. We had to do a little bit of estimate as to this year's opening days for our concession stand, which we're hoping to have open for 3 months. The sheet that you guys have in front of you has a breakdown of the permit, what the POS system would cost, the food expense, and possibly the staff expense. And we're hoping to be open 89 days out of the 3 months. But since we do have events in the mansion and in the pavilion, and depending on the weather, we might not be open all 89 days that we currently are thinking we would have open. Our opening food expense that we were thinking we would have would be $223.50. And we would have the staff here from 9 to 5, which would be 2 part-time employees, 4 hours each. And so they would not be full-time employees, they would be part-time, which are the current staff that we have here working the concession stand, either in the pavilion or in the mansion. From last year, we were only open 30 days. And since we started late, we started in August, and we tried to stay open until September the 29th. But due to the weather, everybody had gone back to school, so we didn't have many sales from the concession stand, so we didn't have that many sales, so we didn't do as what we thought we would do for that opening for the concession stand of last year. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
You say 3 months. When are you proposing to start and finish?
June 1st through hopefully September 1st, because that's when everybody really does go back to school. Usually, since we have the summer camps here, that's where we do get some of the profit from the concession stand.
Why not in September stay open on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday?
Well, we were thinking of that, but again, if we have events in the pavilion and in the mansion, that would reduce the days that we might be able to open. And if the weather, if it rains, we usually close down because no one's
Yeah,
at the park.
because nobody's at the park, yeah. But if you don't have an event going on, there's no reason not
Right.
to be open on in September until we winterize the pavilion.
Right, correct,
You know, you can do weekends.
correct. That's what we're hoping for.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's in a state of flux. We're gonna see how it operates, and then, you know, if it warrants it, then you'll open. Joe?
I'm a little concerned. So for 2022, we had 30 days, and we had sales of 2478. We're hoping to be open for 89, or let's say 90 days, to make the math a bit easier. If we were to equal what we did last year, we would be at $7,500. Even assuming we make double that, we aren't even going to be able to cover the staffing costs. Is that correct?
Well, the staffing, that's already in the budget because they're the park attendants that are already on staff, so they're not, I don't know.
Just redirecting them, they're not doing anything extra. It's not extra money for them.
Right.
No, and also, I'm sorry, Tina. Vic Federico, Director of Grounds Facilities. Last year, we caught the end of the band camp. We didn't catch the camps this last year. The camps, we have hundreds of kids here, June, July, August. We didn't catch that last year. So with the camps knowing that this is open, we expect to do great sales-wise.
Do we have a projected or expected or hoped for revenue, a goal
I
of what we
won't,
would need?
I won't even give that because we don't have enough information.
Okay. I hope it's a great success. You know, I've had my reservations, I've said them publicly, not in the staff, that in no way reflects on the staff, just as a cost-benefit analysis. It's a numbers game for me in terms of whether this is viable or beneficial. So I would love to see myself proven wrong. I wish you guys all the success in the world. I really hope it goes very well this summer. So we'll see.
My view is that in addition to possibly making money, we're providing a service for the community that they might not otherwise have. They're at the park, they're hungry, they, instead of going over to Rye Ridge, or driving the car and all of that, we'll have something there for them as a service to the community, which we're not giving away. And hopefully, we will at least break even and, with a little luck, make a little bit of a profit.
I'd like to add that the staff have been using the facility that we created for the snack bar at our concert series indoors, so that at every concert and intermission, we're selling beverages and snacks for a complete profit.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So, and I think, you know, this is a startup, so this is all learning how to do this. And I think that they have gained a lot of information. We'll know a lot more after this season.
And
We'll
it's
see how the
not,
model-
you're saying it's sort of the same staff, so there's no need to have people aren't being pulled away from certain duties to do this, and then that leaves, we're managing to.
If it's this, we have a bunch of staff either doing events or for the pavilion events. If there are staff that are free and they're not working any events, then we'll ask them if they can work the concession stand. So they divide their time working either concession, and if they're not working the concession, they're able to work an event either in the mansion or the pavilion.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Candy. Very well done. Do you have something else, Vic?
Yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, also for the concession, it will be open for 8+ summer events, concerts, movies, which will be all pretty much profit. Things going on outside. If you haven't noticed, the pavilion is being painted. They started today. The cottage roof was started today. Trying to think. We have Jane Dubrow and Congregation Emmanuel coming on this Sunday. They're bringing their 7th grade to do cleanup because they can't make next week. So, okay, that's about all I have.
Tell us about the garden.
Oh, I have a picture. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Out at the Wildflower Garden, I hope soon to be passed by the Friends. We're going to do it anyway because we have extra area on the side of the garden, but we're going to put container gardens out there, totally enclosed, with netting and gates so they can be locked. And it's going to be used as a culinary teaching garden, and that's what the gardens will be. We've talked to our teacher downstairs, the culinary teacher downstairs. She's excited to use elementary schools to teach them how to grow and bring to the table.
Thank you. David? Finance report.
You have the receivables report through March. It reflects it adds the school taxes that will be make whole for the end of April. The school taxes outstanding through March is 1.65 million, which is what they normally are each year, sometimes a little bit higher, but that just reflects there's no large taxpayers that have outstanding taxes for school taxes. That's Village of Porteous. The Porteous School District has the largest amount, but overall our outstanding taxes are just under 2.6 million, which is, again, it's 1.19% of the total levy. So we are in very good shape there. And Nick will tell you we're collecting the county taxes in April. And that's about 32 million. The county taxes and the town taxes are billed and collected in April of each year. So we're in good shape on that front, and we're finalizing open audit items, and everything looks good.
Thank you. Any questions of the Comptroller from the council? Thanks, Dave. Let me jump to you, Jeff. Talk about the in-rem, where we are.
Hi, Jeff Binder, Town Attorney and Special Counsel for in-rem pursuit, and much of what I do is seeking collection of outstanding in-rem receivables. As of right now, I don't have the number off the top of my head of what we've collected, but we've whittled down the number of delinquent property owners to about 4, which represents roughly $50,000 in outstanding receivables, and we're continuing to pursue that.
Those are the ones that would be scheduled to go in rem in July if they don't pay.
Right. And by scheduled to go in rem, what that really means is we bring a lawsuit and seek to foreclose on the properties, and then continue to negotiate in front of the judge or in front of in the court in the context of a larger lawsuit, or if the property owner defaults or loses their case, then we would seek to take the property, sell it, pay the taxes, and reap the windfall, which we don't seek to do, but we want to collect those taxes because it's important to the school kids and it's important to all of our municipal services.
So I'm guessing that we're really not going to need to go into in rem in July at the rate you're collecting the taxes.
I don't anticipate it, but there are still outstanding properties that owe, and my marching orders are to keep going until we collect everything.
Who gave
we
you
can.
those marching orders?
No comment.
Thank you, Jeff. Do you have anything else while you're up there?
No, thank you.
Okay. Nick, are you on, receiver of tax report?
Yes, I am, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening. Can you hear me, everybody?
Clear.
Okay. Just remind everybody that April, as Dave said, April is marching on. It's already 2/3 finished. So if you haven't paid your county and town tax, please do so. And due to the fact that the last day is on a weekend, you have a grace period. You can pay on May 1st without any penalty. That includes online. I have adjusted the software to allow you to pay with no penalty on May 1st online. So it's all clear for you. If not, you leave it off in the front of the town or bring it up in the office up till May 1st without any penalty. So we are like we have 10 million in so far without the bank. So that's an indication that the average taxpayer is making payments, but there's still some money out there. So everyone, please, the municipalities depend on this money for their services and operations. So every little bit helps. Any questions for me?
Nope. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too. Hope your report is submitted. Do you have anything else to add?
Nothing else to add.
Okay. Any comment from anybody in the audience? Anybody on Facebook?
There's no comments entered on Facebook.
Okay. Comments from the council? Anything?
No, the only thing I'd say is people that is there anybody on Facebook? Do you know?
Oh, there are 5 people watching.
5 people only. Put the word out. Let people from the town of Rye really need to listen to our meetings and really should be commenting. You know, seeing us outside, out on the streets, sometimes a little too late. So make your comments and spread it to let them know that we're live on Facebook or on the town site also, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And we're streaming on YouTube and several other, I think we're streaming on Instagram, and Patrick could come here and tell us the entire list of all of the social media that we are live streaming on.
People should really get involved and watch our meetings and, make comments. That's all I have to say.
Come and talk to us, actually. We got an email in from Port Chester Beautification wanting to tell us about what their activities were. And the easy answer was, come and join a town meeting and tell us what you're doing. We want to hear what's going on in the township. So I think that's great, Tommy. I agree 100% that people should listen in and they should come and report on what they're up to.
I don't have anything at the present time, so motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Meeting adjourned. Next meeting is May 18th. Thank you.